Yes. All right, at the top of this page, it's now recording. Get it together. So our learning target for today, which is 12.1, what we're going to cover today and the rest of next week is greatest common factor. So our learning target says, I can factor out a. Please stop and just write. Every time I have to tell you to stop singing, I'm going to take off a point from your team. Every time. No. No. Alright, I can factor out a GCF from any polynomial. So we're going to do example 1 and 2 today, and then we're going to practice. Each flappy that we have in our foldable, we're going to have a separate page that helps us practice this. So we're going to have a separate page for GCF that we're going to do in a few minutes. And we're going to start with examples 1 and 2. Now, factoring means division. So you have to find the greatest common factor, which means the biggest number that goes into both of your terms that you have. So in example 1, let's look at it. What is the biggest number that divides into both 2 and 42?
2.
It is 2. Good job. Both of you take a point. So you're going to write this 2 down. And then you're going to draw parentheses. Now, if we start with 2 terms here, we need to end with 2 terms in our parentheses. So our goal is to go backwards to what we had before when we were distributing. Do you guys remember when we did a monomial times a polynomial?
Yes.
We're going backwards to that. So what is 2x divided by 2? If I have 2x and I divide it by 2, what's going to be left? 1 what? X. Good. So you just write x. Alright, then you're going to divide 42y by 2. What's 42y divided by 2? 21.
20 minutes.
C. 21y. Good. And that's it. That's all you have to do. You're done. We factored it.
What?
Yep.
Hey man, inside the bird, go and give me the paper.
The paper?
The paper on
Lady, calm down. You're not ready for this. You need practice.
You need
practice on the jump shot.
You know what that is?
So all you had to do on this one was find the biggest number that divides into both terms. So GCF means the biggest number that divides into any of your terms or all of your terms. Now, did they have a variable in common? Are x and y the same thing?
No.
No. So you didn't have to divide out any variables. But let's look at example 2. Do they have a variable in common?
Yep.
So then we have to follow a rule. The first thing that we do, the first step, is we find the biggest number that goes into 4 and 24. So find the GCF of 4 and 24.
6.
No, 6 does not go into 4.
2.
The biggest.
4.
4. Yep, take a point. So 4 is the biggest number. Now, they have a variable in common, so you have to look at your variables. The second thing you do is you take the smallest exponent. And that's 3. So then you're going to bring that to the outside. 4x cubed. Now this is your GCF that you're going to divide both of these terms by. And the reason we take out the smallest exponent is because if this one has 3 in it, then 4 has to have 3 x's. How many x's do we have if it's x to the 4? We have 4, and that does have 3 in it, right?
Yeah.
With how many left over?
1.
Boom. We've just factored. Yep. So you take the smallest exponent and find the GCF of 4 and 24. So the biggest number that divides into 4 and 24 is 4. And then the smallest exponent is 3. Now what's 4 divided by 4? 1. And if you have 4 x's and we take out 3, how many is going to be left over? 1. So you just write x plus.
6.
Where'd you get 6 from?
Oh, I wonder. 24 divided by 4.
24 divided by 4. And then if you have 3 x's and you take out 3, you have none left over. So you're done.
I'm gonna let you know right now. You want to play? I ain't picking up the way in bed.
I'm not going to be honest.
I'm going too fast by saying 4 divided by 4.
No, that's not.
I don't even know what to do.
We're going to walk through it again. It's crazy. You could just say, hey, can you walk through that again? That's a polite way to say it. Look at you go. All right, let's look at our problem. The first thing we did was we looked at 4x to the 4th plus 24x cubed. And we said, what's the biggest number that goes into both 4 and 24? So the biggest number that divides into both of those is 4. That's what we did right here. That was step 1. So we wrote down 4. Is everybody with me on that? Are we sure? Okay. Are you paying attention? Because I'm explaining it again. Are you sure? Because you're not even looking at the board. All right. So then we took the smallest exponent. So what's smaller, 4 or 3? 3. So we wrote down 4x cubed and we drew parentheses. The reason we did this was because this is the greatest common factor of both of these terms. So we're trying to find the biggest thing that goes into both of them. And goes into is what mathematical operation? Divide. Divide.
That went into 4 and 24, you just put it out there.
Yes, the biggest number that divides into both 4 and 24, you put it on the outside.
So what about if it's like 100?
Wait, just let's focus on this one. We're going to do some more. Yes.
Where'd you get the x plus 6 from?
We haven't come to that part yet. We're just making sure that we understand where we got this.
Yeah.
Okay, is everybody with me on how we got that?
Yeah.
So then from there, factoring means you divide. So you do 4 divided by 4, and that gave us 1, but we don't have to write that. And we have 4 x's, and we take out 3, so how many's left over? 1, and that's where the x came from. Does everybody see where the x came from? Do you want me to go through it again? Okay. 4 divided by 4 gave us 1. And then you do x to the 4th divided by x cubed. So if you have 4 and you take out 3, how many do you have left? 1. Now, do you remember over here where we divided our terms by 2? You're doing the same thing. You're taking your term and you're dividing it by this number. This whole thing. Okay? So we did 4 divided by 4 and we got 1. We had 4 x's, we took out 3, we have 1 left over. Then we write a plus because this is positive. Is everybody with me? Okay, now you do 24 divided by 4 and you get 6. If you have 3 x's and you take out 3, you have none left, so you just write your parentheses.
Okay, that's easy.
Does everybody understand? Are we ready to practice some GCF just like these? Turn the page. We're going to call this on the back 26. So this is going to be our GCF page, our GCF practice page. I put it on the back of my foldable, so all you need to do is flip over and write it on the back. This is 26. And we're going to call it GCF practice. GCF stands for greatest common factor. And common means what they have in common. That's why we divide both of them by it. It's crazy. All right, example A. Factor each polynomial.
Okay. Oh, you right now.
When I write, you write.
What was that reason?
He told Mackenzie she was fine again.
Yeah, she didn't even turn around.
Stop it.
She just stopped the ego talk.
Alright, so let's do 16A plus 24B. This is the first one that we're going to do. We're gonna do a baby one.
Let me think.
Baby.
Why do you say it's not 4?
Ocho.
It is 8. But let's give other people a chance to think who aren't quite as quick as you.
Yeah.
So the first thing you do is you find the biggest number that goes into both of those. We know 2, but we want the biggest number.
No, 4. But you want
We want the biggest number. 8. So we're going to bring 8 to the outside. Now, do they have a letter in common?
No.
Nope. So then we write our parentheses. Now remember, factor means divide. So we're going to divide each of those terms by 8. So what is 16a divided by 8? 2a. Good.
You gotta bring your plus sign down.
Then you bring your plus sign down.
And it's-
Wait, just wait, just wait. Does everybody see where we got 2a from? We did 16a divided by 8. Then we do 24b divided by 8, and you get 3b. Can we do anything else?
No.
Then we're done.
Say-
You know I see you, right?
I was thinking.
As you were reading a text message.
I was checking the time.
Oh.
What are you doing right now, dude? You told me. Get off.
All right, are we ready for the next one?
You gonna tell me about my phone?
Is anybody besides Miss Brister ready?
Reggie.
Miss Brister's killing it over there.
Hey, I'm ready now.
All right, let's do 21
I think we need to do another one like that because a lot of people.
x y plus 14 z.
When does the,
Now, let's let everybody just look at the problem, y'all. Give everybody a chance. Breathe.
It's not burning.
it was a hiccup and he's so bad.
All right, now first, do they have a variable in common?
Nope.
Nope, so we leave it alone. Now, what's the biggest number that goes into 21 and 14, Damien? 7. Take a point.
Alright, 7 up under that. Alright.
So since they don't have a variable in common, we write a 7, we write our parentheses.
Alright.
Now, since there's 2 terms here, how many are we going to end with?
2.
2. So since there's a plus, let's go ahead and write a plus right here.
No more.
Now, what's 21xy divided by 7?
3xy.
Look at us go. Take a point.
Ooh, take a point. Let's
So
go.
basically 21 divided by 7.
Yes, it's the whole thing, though. You have to divide the whole thing.
Plus that 2.
All right, what's 14z divided by 7?
7z.
2z. Take a point,
Hey,
Reggie.
you thinking about subtraction?
Can we do anything else?
No.
All right, then.
Nobody does have the same.
We're going to do that in a second.
Oh my gosh.
What are you whining about? You understand?
Oh yeah.
A little bit.
Hey man, don't get on females like
You
that.
going to do one more? All
No.
right, let's do one more like this, and then we're going to add more variables in. Okay, let's do
84 divided by 2.
9c minus,
These lame numbers.
let's go crazy, 27d.
Oh wow. That's not it. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 8.
What is wrong with y'all?
3.
All right, it's bigger. What's the biggest number that goes into both 9 and 9? Good, take a point.
9, 18, 27. That's 3.
9 is the biggest number that divides into both of those. 27 divided by 9 is 3, but we need to divide into both of those. Okay, now, do they have a letter in common?
No.
Okay, so we just write our parentheses. What's 9c divided by 9?
C.
C. Are we going to write a plus or minus? Minus.
And get
Minus that 3D.
D.
3D.
Does everybody see how we got that?
Yes.
Mackenzie, are you better?
Yes.
Okay, now let's add another variable in there. Are you guys ready? Stop that. Alright, D. Let's, oh, I didn't mean to write this parentheses. Don't do that. Don't write the parentheses. Super sorry. Alright, 15. E cubed minus 25 E squared F.
Okay.
Let's go crazy. That, everybody just write it down. Don't scream anything out. Just breathe. No, I don't want you to say anything.
Hey, my hands are right.
Oh my gosh, you got nothing in your bank account because you a child living at your parents' house. You ain't got no job. You ain't got no money. I'm sorry. Yes. Alright, so the biggest number that divides into 15 and 25 is 5. We haven't like a lesson. You in the way. I understand, but you're in the way. All right, now, do they have a letter in common?
Yeah, no, because it has an F.
But they still have a letter in common. So remember, like we wrote down right here, if they have a letter in common, you take the smallest exponent. So what's smaller, 3 or 2? Okay, please stop screaming. Let me finish the question, then answer. Okay, so let's breathe. What's smaller, 3 or 2? 2. So you write E squared. Now, we're going to divide both terms by 5E squared. Now, what is, stop, let me ask the question. What is 15 divided by 5? 3. Now, don't multiply them. If you have 3 and you take out 2, how many are you going to have left? 1. So it'll be 3E. Minus. Okay, now what's 25 divided by 5? 5. If you have 2 E's and you take out 1, do you have any left?
No.
But what do we have left? Dun, 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 dun.
Why did you yell it? Please,
Wait, stop talking.
Hey man, we not been going at each other like that.
Hey, dude, we got You're mixed, dude. You're not black.
I can be black if I want to. It's a free country.
Is that how it works?
Is that how it works?
I think so. I'm not really sure. I'm still in high school. I don't know.
It said it works.
Yeah, we don't need to fight.
Hey, no, you don't.
Violence is not the question.
Violence is not the question.
Answer. Question.
Listen, here.
Harold.
Hey, are y'all ready for homework, or do we want to practice another? Let's practice one more than homework.
How you gonna ask us an ego?
You might as well not even ask us.
Right? How you gonna
Be
ask us?
like, you got one more.
Jorge, you better not have. All right, uno más, and then homework. Eric.
On that phone.
We have to say your name one more time. I'm keeping your phone for the rest of the day.
Anyway.
Alright, so let's do, that's 5, I heard you.
I thought you
Get
were
that. Oh, he said it again. That's 10. Oh, come on.
Now, man. Now.
Come on, Eric.
doing my body part.
Alright, 28, C cubed, D minus, I am, I'm doing a math problem with these letters. 14C.
Okay, so we got.
Now, I want everybody to try it on their own. I want you to try it on your own, and Eric's going to do his push-ups.
This would be good for purpose.
So I
man.
can-
We already know.
Hey,
Hey, come on.
Purpose
Bingo.
squares is the
Let me
best from this.
What?
No.
No.
You got 10.
Use your purpose squares on
Miss,
this.
follow the
10.
Some.
10.
Oh, he said it twice?
Yes.
10.
10.
10. Toma,
Now,
güey.
You can put a imaginary one right there.
Él también lo dijo.
Stop.
I need some strong
Él también lo dijo.
You said it too?
No.
Sí, mire.
That's
Cinco.
3.
Ya.
Sí. He too.
Quito.
Was that también, no, miss? He too.
Did you say it?
No.
Yes. Yes.
I don't
Gustavo y
trust
él
you.
también, los dos.
No.
Both of you do 5.
Cinco?
He did 2.
5. Jorge, you too.
He did 2.
Would you put a 1 right there?
No, miss, yo no. No tengo fuerzas, miss.
Yeah, would you?
Estoy muy gordito.
So it'll be 7C3. No 1. No
7C.
Okay. Oh,
Take the smallest exponent. Please. Stop. Sit.
Hizo dos, mire. Le faltan tres.
no, ya hice 5.
Y'all get 7?
Yep.
Alright, what's smaller, 3 or 1?
1.
Do they both have a D in common?
No.
Alright. So I want you to be able to figure out the inside without me.
4C minus
4C to the second power.
Miss, ya ves.
that's it.
Are you done?
That's good. I'm gonna go around.
Does 14 go into 28?
That's good. We go around.
Sarah's right. It should be 14, not 7. Take a point, Sarah. 14 is the biggest number that goes into both.
That's good.
Killing it over here, Sarah.
Can I do a round up for you real quick?
Yeah, I made sure.
I can do it
I'll
real
leave the
quick.
top of my
Please don't.
I got this. You don't leave.
I'm not doing it, bro.
Do what?
A round up.
No.
Why are you sitting seat?
Don't,
That's what I got.
Don't keep okay.
I'm just trying to see what your head is.
2C.
Did anybody get it right?
I did.
I did.
No,
Fabian, why are you shaking your head?
No tarea. Hey, got it right.
Okay, do you see where we got 14 from?
You gotta get it.
Okay, so that's the biggest number that goes into both, right? And then you look at your C's, and 3 is the biggest one, 1 is the smallest, so you take out 1 C. Okay? And they don't have a D in common, so you don't worry about that. Alright? Now you do 28 divided by 14, and we get 2. You have 3 C's, you take out 1, so you have 2 left. And then you just bring down your D.
What are you doing?
Okay? Now you do 14 divided by 14, you get 1. And you have 1 C, you take out 1, so you just have 1. Alright, homework. 2 homework problems. 3 homework problems.
Oh, what number?
Be quiet, be quiet, be quiet, be quiet. I swear, dude.
I will hit you.
In the hallway.
That was average. I will stab you with this pen.
I would never say that.
I did all right.
What? What'd you say?
I would never say that.
What? You have said that before.
Wait, what she said? What she
You
said?
Reggie Pacific.
What she said?
Oh, to Jorge, my fault.
No.
What?
Cinco push.
She's recording. That's what she's saying.
Dang.
So,
Hey, I like your shout though.
Shout out NBA young boy.
No one knows what those words are.
21 Savage.
That's what my mom.
Okay, I mean, I don't even
Somebody
know.
fuck with me.
I forgot what you was. So, like,
So just write down your homework.
You better hold that head's gonna wipe you. Like, that's just here.
What did you say?
Dr. Hanson.
Y'all think.
My name.
Dr. Hill, ain't that nice?
Y'all think his.
Francisco. That's my name.
Francisco.
No, what is it? I made up a fake name.
Your name is Harold. Harold the Third.
Hold on. Say that.
Harold the Third. Be quiet.
I'm trying to think.
I can keep writing homework problems down.
The boy that can never get waves. We should make a book about that.
We should.
Harris Watley. His brand new cover.
You know what comes to mind? Everybody laughs at my jokes. Even Miss Ashley.
Dude, jokes not funny, dude.
My jokes funny too. Would you like that? Basketball, same.
Please write this down.
Oh, see that one.
Run on.
Like,